Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello my dear and esteemed students to a new unit number 3. In this unit we will talk about facts and figures. Let's begin with the first lesson, which is reading, and the title of this lesson is scanning for specific information. Number 1. Before you read, A. Look at the pictures. Make a note of how many minutes you usually spend doing each of these things every day. So these are everyday activities. We do all of them usually and every day. But how long, or let's say how many minutes we usually spend doing these activities? The first one is waiting. So how long do you wait your friends, your relatives, your so and so? Number 2, eating. How long? How many minutes do you spend when you eat every day? Number 3, brushing teeth. And this is an everyday activity. And here, how many minutes you usually spend brushing your teeth? And finally, watching TV. Also, we all watch TV every day. Let's see this sample. Number 1, I spend half an hour waiting for my friends. So here, every day this person spends half an hour waiting for his or her friends. Number 2, I spend 15 minutes eating every meal. Here we are talking maybe we spend 15 minutes, a quarter, eating. Number 3, I spend 10 minutes brushing teeth. So every day we spend 10 minutes cleaning our teeth. And finally, I spend 2 hours watching TV. Every night at night, we spend 2 hours watching TV. Now, number B, in pairs, compare your answers from exercise number A and make sentences like, or examples, I spend more time watching TV than you do. So some people watch TV more than others. Here, I spend more time watching TV than you do. You spend a lot of time waiting. You spend much time waiting. I only spend 2 minutes a day brushing my teeth. I only spend 2 minutes a day brushing my teeth. Now number C, this exercise is so important because all the following text depends on the statistics. Now compare your answers with 2 more students. Put their answers near your answers and compare between them and your answer. Work out the average number of minutes you spend on each of the activities in exercise number A. Example, waiting, for example, yes. So student number A, for example, waits his friend or his friends 20 minutes, whereas student number B waits for 25 minutes. The third one, student number C, waits for 10 minutes. The fourth one, student number D, waits for 45 minutes. So here the total is 100 minutes. If we want to divide this sum, this amount, we have to divide it on 4. The total of 100 minutes divided by 4 students equals 25 minutes. So the average here, the average number of minutes we spend on waiting is 25 minutes. The average time spent in waiting equals 25 minutes. And the same things can be applied. The same things can be applied on eating, brushing teeth, and watching TV, and you can calculate the average time spent in brushing teeth, watching TVs, and eating. So it's your duty to do that. Number 2, while you read. Here we want to read the article, we want to read the text. The article on the opposite page is about the results of summary search in Britain. Read the first 2 paragraphs quickly and complete the table. So now, after a minute, we want to read the first 2 paragraphs, and after that we want to complete the table which is in front of us. But here we have 2 columns. The first one is the activity, and the second one is, or has the title of, time spent during whole life. Eating, waiting at traffic lights, brushing teeth, looking at mirrors, and watching television. Now we can't do this. We can't complete the table until we read the first 2 paragraphs. So let's do this task and read the first 2 paragraphs. Here the title is Just a Minute, Just a Minute. I am reading. Listen to me. The average young person today will spend more than 35,000 hours of his or her life eating. That is the equivalent of 6 years of continuous eating. If the person stops to sleep for 8 hours out of 24. If that doesn't surprise you, consider the following facts, which researchers in Britain have discovered. By the time Mr. or Mrs. Average is 70 years old, he or she will have spent 5 months waiting at red traffic lights. The important task of brushing his or her teeth will have taken about 3 months. And looking in mirrors will have filled another 8 months. Some of these statistics are amusing, but others are worrying. Perhaps the most horrifying statistics of all is this. Mr. and Mrs. Average, aged 70, will have sat for 9 years in front of the television. Now I will explain the strange expressions. The average young person, so the medium here, the average means the medium sum, the medium account, yes. The medium young person today will spend more than 35,000 hours of his or her life eating. It's a long period of time. That's the equivalent of 6, and that equals, here is the meaning, and that equals 6 years of continuous eating, progressive eating, going on eating if the person stops to sleep for 8 hours out of 24. If that doesn't surprise you, if that doesn't amuse you, doesn't astonish you, consider the following facts so you can think of the following statistics, which researchers in Britain have discovered. By the time Mr. or Mrs. Average is 70 years old, when they are 70 years, he or she will have spent 5 months waiting at already traffic lights. Also here the period is so long. The important task of brushing, if you want to brush your teeth, for example, so here we will know that the total period of time will be disastrous. I mean 3 months out of your life. So the important task of brushing his or her teeth will have taken about 3 months, and looking in mirrors will take also another 8 months. Some of these statistics, some of these facts are astonishing, yes, amusing, surprising, but other facts are worrying, horrible. Perhaps the most horrifying statistic of all is this. The most horrible, the most terrible, the most awful statistic or fact is Mr. and Mrs. Average, aged 70, will have sat for 9 years in front of the television. After reading, we can answer the previous table. So here the activity: eating, waiting at traffic lights, brushing teeth, looking at mirrors, and watching television. So the total time spent during whole life is eating for 6 years, waiting at traffic lights for 5 months, brushing teeth for 3 months, looking at mirrors for 8 months, and finally watching television. It lasts for 9 years, and it is a very disastrous thing. Now let's continue reading the text. Psychologists and sociologists are interested in information of this sort because it helps them to understand how people live nowadays. The information has practical uses too. A scientist at Britain's Marriage Research Centre says this type of information can help people to think about and improve their relationships. For example, the average British married couple spend 5 minutes a day talking to each other, which is less than 2 days a year, or about 10 weeks of their married lives. Parents and children spend even less time talking to each other, 1 minute a day during the years before the child leaves home, which amounts to only 1 week of their lives. When people realize this, they ask themselves, do I really want to spend less time talking to my loved ones than brushing my teeth? And do I really want to give nearly 1/7 of my waking life to the television? So this is a good and important questions. And my dear students, I want to stop here because we have another complement of this lesson the part number 2. So this lesson is not completed because we have another type, and I can complete explaining this lesson in the following class. So I want to say you all goodbye and see you in the following lesson.